Vayigash. This is a very important parasha in the Bereshit HaSefer, in the book of Genesis. Because this is the culmination, we can say in this way, about the encounter of the two major brothers of this saga between the 12 brothers and their father Jacob. We've seen before about how Jacob went through so many situations, how he needed to run away from his brother, and then finally arrived to Haran, where he was with his father-in-law who exploited him. But in that 20 years that he was with him, he had the opportunity to have a wealth and at the same time living the place with 11 children and 4 wives, and he went back to the promised land, to Canaan, and there he reestablished himself. And now we are in this period when he made his beloved son, Joseph, the son of his beloved wife, Rachel, as the Behor, as the number one, and put it almost in a pedestal, to the point that he gave it to him in a special coat to differentiate him from all his brothers. And that created what we call a hate against him, and there couldn't be peace among them. To the point that every time that they saw Joseph, the other brothers wanted to kill him. If he was not killed, was because of the grace of our precious Creator, because he needed to do something special. He was going to follow a very special role that he needed to arrive. Joseph, from the top that he was with his brothers, went down to the prisons, to the lowest of the lowest, and again, our Creator put him back at the top of humanity. What is very interesting, last week I mentioned to you that in that process, Joseph become assimilated in external ways to the Gentiles. Everybody looked at him, and they could. You saw Joseph in the Egyptian kingdom, and nobody will be able to recognize him as a Hebrew person. Totally the contrary. He was dressed as a Gentile. He looked as a Gentile, and he spoke the Gentile language, Egyptian. And because Pharaoh became his adoptive father, Pharaoh was considered God. Then Joseph became the son of God. And this is how you're going to see later on. These ideas are not new. Didn't happen with the Greek Empire or the Roman Empire. Those ideas were all religion, that God has a son and the son becomes God too. That is very current. And then this semi-God or God, whatever we want to call it, even his name was changed. Sephania Paneach. I don't know what it really means. There are many meanings about that. The one that could decipher dreams, the one that is a special man, whatever it is, the meaning. Well, one thing, he was not any longer an Israelite according to the terms of what an Israelite is. There's something special I talked to you about last week that we went over Hanukkah. And it's very interesting that this parashat come in this time of Hanukkah, and also a very important festival in the Christian religion, that is Christmas. And you're going to see certain relationship between both sides. Christmas is almost the mirror of Hanukkah, but in a gentle way, or I would call it, I know that people don't like when I say this, but a more pagan way, even that is the way that it is. And there are two festivals, one looking at each other, but most of the people don't realize that Christmas is basically a reaction to Hanukkah. No? They're trying to make their own festival, and now it's a very beautiful festival according to many people. Well, but here we are going to see this today. Vayigash means that he approached, he came closer to. Who? Judah, representing Israel, or representing their father Jacob. What was the name that was given to Jacob? Israel. Then Judah was representing Israel in that moment. And what Joseph was representing? The Gentile world. Look at this picture, though, and we're going to get a midrash from these pictures. And you're going to see here two giants, if we can call it, in the sense as leaders, in their own right. Judah had demonstrated that he was a true leader. He had demonstrated that he was serious. He had demonstrated that he was responsible. In spite of his many mistakes, he was responsible. And I had mentioned to you before that one of the beauties, or one of the beautiful things about the Torah is that teaches about our heroes of the faith are mere human beings. No perfect humans, that they cannot commit sin or they cannot do anything wrong. Totally the contrary. And in spite of their own humanity, they go ahead because the Creator has called them, Yikra, called them to do a special role. And you're going to see that the term being Israel means that not only the one that has a contention with the Creator, but has, to be part of Israel, you need to have a calling. The Creator needs to talk to you and especially bring you here. Then, we have seen this through the religious people, but they have made many ideas and many teachings. But always we need to go back to the scriptures. And we're going to see, I call it, two very good leaders, Judah and Joseph. And even they were not equal in the level of authority or power in the human understanding, they were equally in the size of the Creator. Because the Creator doesn't make exceptions of people, but He gives us roles to function. And one of the things that Judah, and you're going to see the picture of Judah, is that he has shown from the beginning a great responsibility. He took his responsibility as the leader of the group to the end. And this is when he has this discussion with Joseph. Joseph had not revealed himself yet to his brothers. Joseph is treating them in a very hard way. In certain way we can say, without being a psychologist, we can understand here something. Joseph is still dealing with his own hurt. He was literally sold by his brothers. And then he was abandoned by them and forgotten by them. Has passed 22 years since he was sold to the Egyptians. And what is happening is he is looking for maybe a type of vengeance to get even. Can you understand, in those 22 years, now he is the viceroy. He is a very important person, the most powerful person in this great empire of Egypt, besides Pharaoh. And he didn't go back to his land to find his father. Something is telling you that something happened there. Then not only he sees them, but instead to reveal to them, he hold that and wait and hold first Shimon. Why Shimon? Because Shimon was one of the two brothers, or Levi and Shimon, Simon and Levi. You know, the two ones that they liked to kill. You know, they were the fighters. No, they already proved with the Dinah's affairs. And now, you know, he there was say, let's kill him. And then is when they intervene Reuben, and later on Judah as the leader in a very special way. Anyway, his life was spared. They didn't kill him, but they lied to, the brothers lied to his father, Jacob, and Jacob received the same measure that he had received before. I have already told you all about this. But here comes, now, he is in the last moments, he's going to kill Benjamin. And Benjamin, Judah promised his father that happen what happens, Benjamin is coming back. I give you my word. Then he's going to talk to Joseph without knowing that he's his brother. And he tells the story about himself, about Joseph. And Joseph is listening and he realizing that Judah and the brothers has acknowledged that they had done wrong. The only thing that they couldn't say is to tell their father the truth. But he realized that they are remorseful. And then Judah is going to do the greatest sacrifice that any brother can do. And this is what is going to change Joseph's mind. He is willing to spare his own life. He had a family. He had children. He has a group of people that work for him. He already was an established man. But he was willing to give his life to exchange of Benjamin, the son of the beloved wife of his father. Not his own mother, Leah, but Rachel. That's when Joseph, for the first time, was able to see in a whole picture that the brother really has come united. I always tell people, this message is for today. And this message is a projection of what is going to happen. The only time that Israel is going to be in the top is when they recognize, they acknowledge the wrongdoings, and they become united. That's not happening right now. We are in that process. The Haftorah that we have read this morning is about RANEBI, the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verses 14 to the 30. And when we talk about the two branches that are going to be joined together, one is Joseph and the other is Judah, or Ephraim and Judah. Exactly what we are seeing today in this parasha. But I'm going to go a little bit more. You see, in Judaism, our sages have developed these ideas about the Mashiach. By the way, the idea of the Mashiach, it is a development of a spiritual truth. The idea of the Mashiach is not something that is written there in the scriptures. You need to delve in it to find an understanding and to find your own understanding. But really the idea of the Mashiach, the Messiah, has come in the, what we call it, in the idea of the Hason, the vision, the apocalyptic vision, the developing of this idea that the posterior, the times are going to come, the total redemption of the world, you know, and in this process, there's going to come a hero, and this hero is the composition of many things. Could be a priest, could be a king, from the tribe of Judah, or from the tribe of from Kohanim, or from any other tribe of Israelites, even from the tribe of Joseph. Joseph was declared the descendant of John. They had the idea in this parasha that Joseph represents the suffering Messiah, the servant Messiah. And Judah represents the conqueror Messiah. But as you see, the pictures look like the opposite. Because Judah is the one that has been conquered, and he bowed down to Joseph many times. And he said, my Lord, your servants, over and over again. And it's not Judah who is in the top, it's Joseph. It's the suffering servant is in the top. But the conquering Messiah, the victorious Messiah, the Davidic Messiah in Judah doesn't recognize this other one. When Joseph is recognized, this is the first point that we need to understand in all these pictures that we are talking about. When Joseph is recognized, because his brothers were very clever and say, oh, this is Joseph, what we did. Joseph was talking to them through an interpreter. Not even. And he understood everything that they were saying. They didn't realize that. Why they couldn't recognize Joseph as one of them? Because his physical appearance was not one of them. His language was not one of them. Supposedly the God that he worshipped was not the God that they worship. Look at this contrast with today. We have Yeshua HaMashiach, Yeshua the Messiah. In plain English, we will say Jesus the Messiah. And compare it with Jesus Christ. Sorry to tell you, they are not the same. One is a historical entity, a historical personality. The other is a theological invention. And then, how do you think the Judeans, the tribe of Judah, Judah himself, will recognize this Jesus Christ as Yeshua the Messiah, the brother? He doesn't speak the language, and dress totally different, and the people worship him as a God. And when they know, Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, Hear, O Israel, the Lord is God, there is no other beside him. How we, the Jewish people, we are going to worship another God? Now you can see these two contentions. Then what does the Jewish people? They reject the idea. We are going to be under your authority. We bow to you, but we don't worship you as a God. For us, you are a mere human being. Suddenly, it's going to get the time. And I believe that we're getting closer to that more than ever. That we are going to rediscover for the first time the true Yeshua. Historically, and as the Messiah, as the messenger of the Creator, to bring his people, Israel, back to Torah, in order that Israel will be what I needed to be from the beginning, or Legoyim, to show the Torah to the rest of the nations and to bring them to under the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What is happening right now? Let's compare these two things. Has we already, is this encounter between Judah and Joseph has happened? And my answer is not yet. And it's going to happen pretty soon. When the people of Israel finally, they are little by little, they are more and more like us, they are opening our eyes to the true Yeshua. Not the Yeshua that has been conquered by theological things, artifices that they do to make him a god, or by the very despiteful attitude of the rabbis that they're trying to destroy the real Yeshua because of their reaction against paganism. And it's coming the time that both sides, they are going to see their mistake. Because both sides, they are attacking or believing in the wrong things. And only the Creator can take away the blindness in both sides. And doesn't matter how much I talk, or doesn't matter what others talk, doesn't matter how much others tell you, doesn't matter how much they teach you and they show you in the scriptures, they won't open their eyes because they are spiritually blinded right now. And they don't want to see the truth. There is only one God. Not two, not three. And the God that we believe in, the Boreolam, the creator of the world, blessed be his name, is the creator of all humanity. Yes, he created the Chinese, he created the Japanese, he created the black people, he created the brown people, he created the white people. All of them, he created them. And if he didn't create you, you are a Martian.
He created the Martians too.
No, in this land. He created it. What I'm trying to say is you are from another world. No? You think you have not been created by the Creator. And there is only one. And doesn't matter, by the way, I tell people, you know, in my younger life, I used to be, I was very proud to say that I was an atheist. You know? And in my years as an atheist, for more than I tried to believe that God didn't exist, believe me or not, God didn't cease to exist because I didn't believe it. And there are many people who will tell you, I don't believe, and because they think they don't believe, the Creator has disappeared. And that's not the case. And many people say, no, I believe in my religion. And they think because they believe the religion is true. You know, and because they think that's true, that's it. You see, we as human beings, we don't have the capability to make anything true. It's only the Creator. You can believe whatever you want to believe, and the Creator knows what you believe. And many people think for what I believe, that's going to make me better, going to give me salvation. The Creator brings you not because what you believe, it's because what you are. And that's the case between Judah and Joseph. They were men of integrity. With all their shortcomings, with Joseph that was more stuck up than anybody else and went down and he humbled himself and he needed to deal with his own anger. And Judah, with all his problems that he has, and the wife that he had, the children he had, and having a child with his own daughter-in-law, Tamar. And through that line is going to come the line of King David. With all the problems, they both represent true people with the shortcomings and the greatness. And that's what the Creator does. He saw their hearts. As Yochanan, the prophet Jeremiah, say over and over and again and repeat it to you. Who can know the heart of man? Deceitful it is. And the Lord say, I know the heart of man, and I test the heart, and I give accordingly. You see, it's not your religion who save you. It's not your dogmas or your doctrines. What really makes you have a relationship with the Creator is you and Him and you. He comes to you and you respond to Him. And you have a relationship. When our Messiah Yeshua said, you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free, what did He say? You shall know the Creator, the Borei Olam. And the Borei Olam is going to make you free of all your religions, all your superstitions, all the things that you are holding into that they don't have any value. And you are coming back to me to have a personal relationship. Because when you, in Hebrew, you say Yodea, to know, means intimate relationship. Judah knew the Creator. Joseph knew the Creator. What happened with Joseph? Joseph is dressed, looks, and talks like a Gentile. The Gentile world has made him a god. The Jewish people know there cannot be a God, because there are no human beings that can be gods. And that is the problem. Until when? Joseph discovered himself. And Joseph revealed himself to his own brethren. And he said, Ani Joseph. I am Joseph, your brother, the one that you sold. And the poor guys had a heart attack. They turn around and say, oh no, what I has done, what we has done. And then what he say? Do not worry, 45:5. That you sold me, but the Creator has a plan to preserve, send me before you to preserve your lives. He understood from that moment what the Creator had been doing with him. Look at this midrash. Right now, interestingly enough, you know that we are going through this problem about Jerusalem. One country, United States of America. We want it or not, they represent in certain way Christianity. Okay? And they, in their own way, they think about Jesus Christ. One day they are going to find the true Yeshua. And they have been the only ones that it has come out for Israel. The only nation. Not even our Canada. That tell you about how sad I am about Canada. But worse, the European countries, the very elevated people, they tell you how they hate against Israel. The world hates Israel. Why? Why the hatred against Israel? Is because the most powerful country in the world? Because they're the most numerous people in the world? Because they hate everybody? And they're killing everybody? Totally the contrary. You know, it's interesting. I was looking in a documentary. Several Arabs, Israelis, and all of them, they were saying that the only country that they can be free is in Israel as Arabs. Why the United Nations doesn't mention that? In the last years, since 2012 to this time, there are 80% of the injunctions against Israel by the United Nations. 80% all attacks against Israel. Is that evil Israel? What about, only to mention certain names, what about North Korea? What about all the Middle Eastern countries? They kill among each other. What about Turkey? And Turkey, they wanted to teach Israel about what is right and what is wrong. The president is a dictator. What about the European countries that they call themselves that they are higher than anybody else? Look at what is happening inside them. What about in Latin American countries, this beautiful country of Venezuela? Tell me, those countries are attacking Israel. And they don't see themselves, like Yeshua say, don't point with one finger. You know, don't look at your neighbor's little thing in the eyes and look at the big log that you have in your own eyes. What is telling you? This is the encounter between Judah and Joseph. Let me tell you something very interesting. All Jewish people are part of Israel. But not all Israel is part of the Jewish people. And sometimes people get confused about that. Jewish people come from the word Judah, from the tribe of Judah, from the empire of the south. The Northern Empire literally disappeared. But many of them stayed in the south. This idea of the 10 tribes of Israel had disappeared is not true. It's there. They stay in the south, many of them. Yes, many of them disappeared, and what happened? They assimilated. What is this precious portion of the Haftorah is teaching us? The Creator is going to bring his people back from all over the world. And the people, Israel, doesn't mean necessarily about that my DNA is pure blood, but is what my heart and relationship with the Creator has a relationship. What it means is, I was called by him. As the Creator called Abraham Avinu, is calling his people from all over the world. And what Abraham Avinu has in common with the rest of the world? He was not an Israelite. He was not a Jew. He was a Gentile. And finally, we see in the precious entrance to the promised land after he brought us back, that two men from the first generation came in, Ephraim and Caleb. Ephraim representing Joseph, and Caleb representing Judah. Ephraim is a pure land. It's a pure blood, you know. And in Yehoshua, Joshua. And Judah, representing the tribes of the tribes, is represented by one man called Caleb. In English, they say Caleb, no, Caleb. Okay? Do you know what is the name for this animal that is the most faithful animal for men? Dog is Caleb. That was the name of this man. And this man was not an Israelite, was a Kenizzite. What is telling you in those pictures? Don't worry about the pure blood. Worry about your pure heart and your relationship with the Creator. This is the message of this beautiful passage. And this Midrash is going to come into conclusion sooner than later. I say to you that one of the things that happened at the moment in the encounter between Joseph and Judah was one thing that happened. Judah and his brothers, finally, they came together as one. And they recognized their mistake, what they did to their brother. And they were sorrow. And finally, Joseph revealed to them. It's my prayer. It's my hope. It's my desire that Yeshua will be revealed to my people Israel in the right way. And the Gentile world will see Yeshua for who he is, not for what they had made him to be. That has lost totally contact with his people. Now you understand why we Jewish people cannot accept Jesus Christ. But we wouldn't have problem with our teacher, our Rabbi, our prophet, our messenger, our Messiah, Yeshua. Have a wonderful day. Shabbat Shalom.